Thank you. Admin, can you mute your side, please? Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us on IminiWealthTV today. Welcome to our live call, our monthly live. My name is lolaowokoniran. I'm the founder and CEO of iminiwealthgroup. We're an online financial educational platform and a financial services provider for individuals, families, and businesses as well. We have this call every second Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're so excited to have you here. And today, our monthly Q&A session will be on the topic of budgeting, how to create a budget. So we do have some pre-submitted questions, which we'll start off with on today's call. But before we go into today's questions sent by our viewers, I'll start today's call by explaining briefly what a budget is, a brief introduction. You know, a budget is a tool. It's a plan. It's a money plan, you know, a plan for your money. It's a spending plan as well. Your money plan should be strategic so you can plan for your life, for now and for your future life, your future self. So your future self can thank you. So yes, you do have to budget, you have to plan, and you might have to sacrifice here and there to reach that financial goal. So think of it as a personal driver of your finances. And having a money plan is very important. Your money plan should be strategic so you can plan for your future self is very important. I find this very, very important to point out because personal finance has so much to do with your habits, your mindset, and your emotions. The habits you develop today determines what your future is going to look like. This also falls under how you manage your money, how you relate with your money. And considering we're entering the new year, this is a great time to, you know, dig deeper and review things in terms of your finances. Think of it as an act of personal responsibility and accountability to yourself when it comes to your money. It's your spending plan. So to get more understanding on budgeting and why it is very important, watch our video from last week on budgeting as a spending plan, where we explain briefly what a budget is and why it's very important. The video link will be posted in the comments section of this video, and we'll also put it in the description as well, so you can go back and watch that video. So like I said earlier, we do have some pre-submitted questions, but as you are following us on today's questions and answers, it's hard questions, soft answers on budgeting, how to create a budget. It's the new year, so think about it like a new year, new budget. So leave your questions, leave your comments in the comment section below. My interviewer, which I'm very grateful to have her on the call today, is going to be reading out the questions. We're going to start off with the pre-submitted questions. So thank you all for joining us today, and let's have some fun. All righty. Over to you, interviewer.
Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to be here to be presenting these questions. The first question that I have is, how do you personally approach budgeting in your day-to-day life?
That's a good one. So, but before I answer the question, I want to make sure I point out that budgeting is a process. There's no perfect way. There's no one way fit all. You have to try different methods and find out what works for you, what works best for your organization or your family. So whenever you find yourself stressing about having a budget, just let it go, relax. It's numbers, it's just numbers. Because sometimes stressing over it is what makes a lot of people not even try it or attempt it or even work on a budget. But we need it. We do our medical checkups, once, many of us do it even more than once a year. Why don't you have a plan for yourself, for your finances? Many big corporations have a budget. They start way early, 6 months before the new year approaches. They already have their budget finalized, planning for major big purchases, planning for the income, the revenue that they expect to earn. Yes. So how much more we individuals who work for these big organizations? So I'm just saying, hint, hint. So have a spending plan, have your money plan. I call it personally, it's called a money plan for me. You can call it anything you want to call it, but have a budget in place. Let go of that thought, that negative thought or the stress, and think of your budget as a work in progress. And your goal is to get as close to your plan as possible. And if it doesn't work, there's always the reset button. Try again the next month. Try again the following week, but start one today. So to answer your question, my personal approach is using a spreadsheet. Yes, I'm guilty. I'm an accountant by profession, a financial planner, and spreadsheets do not lie. They give it works for me. And I use the percentage method, allocating percentages to my fund, allocating amounts as well. I dabble between those two. Either I set amounts or I do percentages towards my financial goals. And, I tweak and adjust month after month as we go, because again, every month is always going to be different. Some months you spend more than the other, but stay within the budget. So there are different budget methods. We have the envelope or cash method. We have the percentage breakout method, which I personally use. We have the reverse budgeting. We have the zero budgeting. And there are budgeting apps out there that anyone that has a cell phone today or even a computer, you can get one for free, or you can even get one that you'll be paying a monthly fee. Many banks out there also have apps that come with the bank accounts that show you your spending categories. You can start with that, but start one today. And there's always a traditional pen and paper. That never fails. A pocketbook and a pen will also help you in getting you to your desired goals. So that's my personal approach. And one other approach that I love to do is to try money challenges. I strongly encourage it. Like, a no shopping spend challenge where I go months at a time for me and my family where we don't go shopping. So, but we focus on just the four pillars of necessary spending. Things like feeding, we spend on feeding, utilities, shelter, transportation, because those are the four necessary spending things that you need to keep our home running. And if you'd love for me to do a video on other money challenges that I do, that I practice, please leave a comment in this video below, and I will make sure I take note of that and come up with videos explaining these money challenges that can help you achieve your financial goals, as I am doing that today. And also, if you'd love to hear more about the different budgeting methods that are out there that you can try yourself, kindly leave those comments if you'd love for me to do a video on those, explaining to you each type and comparing, the advantages and disadvantages. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. I will do my very best to act on those in the coming weeks. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I really do think that we would need that video to help us have more different approaches and strategies in order to learn about budgeting. The next question that I have is that I know that families and people and individuals have financial goals that they have set, whether it be saving up for a house, saving up for a car, having a specific amount of money in their savings account. So, how often do you reveal your own personal goals and how do they influence your own budget?
Okay, lots of personal questions coming up, but that's okay. We're here to share and, share most importantly what is working and what options that are out there. That's also a very great question. So I love to think about it this way. The new year is fast approaching. In a couple of weeks, a couple of days, we're all counting down to that Happy New Year sentence. So now is a great time to define your financial goals. Many of us set New Year resolutions. We, want to lose a diet, we want to be on a diet, we want to lose 20 pounds, we want to read X amount of books. Have your financial goals in place as well. They're very important. Things like paying off your debts, saving up for your vacation for next year, saving up to buy a house or to start a business. Those are great financial goals that you can put in place. Another good one is emergency funds. Yes, emergency funds. My rule of thumb is start with at least $1,000. Save that money up to $1,000. Practice that. Deduct a certain amount from your paycheck to get to that goal. By say, everyone's finances and numbers are different. So you want to set a date in place where you want to reach that goal. And then you achieve it, because that $1,000 can save you in so many ways that you don't have to swipe that credit card. You can pay for an emergency flight ticket if you have an emergency out of town. You can pay for a home repair situation in the house. You can pay for new tires. So have that $1,000, and every time you spend out of it, reimburse it, buff it back up. And don't stop at that 1,000. Your goal should be at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. So for everyone listening to me out there, if you don't have anything on your plan for New Year's, make sure emergency fund is included in your financial goals. But to the question you asked, setting for my financial goals, I review them monthly. I write them down, and beside each goal, I always have an amount, my set goal, my desired goal amount, where I want to achieve, what I want to achieve, and the date. I set amount. I love numbers, so amount, I go by percentage or I allocate an amount to that financial goal. So, and I love to automate things. Auto pay is my favorite. I auto set things so that things are working behind the scenes without me going into my phone or my devices to push the buttons every month or every week, income is coming in. And that helps for me and my family. But also, yes, everything is automated for us, but we also check behind the scenes. You always have to do a review. The review is bi-weekly, monthly, so that you're not surprised. My money plan is, I check that alongside with our statements, our bank statements, our credit card statements. So there's no sneaky surprises getting posted on those, which is very, very important. Auto pay is good, automation is good, but spend time to review behind the scenes where your money is going to. We work hard for this money, either as business owners or employee-employer relationship. So you want to make sure that you are putting every dollar to an assignment and you are checking and being accountable on that. So, and as you set your goals, make sure that they are realistic goals. Having unrealistic financial goals makes it very hard for budgets to work. So because the numbers will not work. I mean, you're trying to pay down a debt of $10,000 and you're just an example, and you're contributing $100 a month to pay it down. You will never get that bill paid for the next, how many years? 10 or more years. So remember, the numbers always tell a story. I always say that. The numbers always tell a story. So put pen to paper and see what works for you. But as you set your goals for the new year, your financial goals, make sure they are achievable. Make sure they are realistic. Make sure that you strive very hard to cut down on where you need to cut down and divert those extra funds to the right places. Yes. So that's what works for us. We do that. We review them every month or bi-weekly. Yes. And we do set a reminder, yes, on our devices. That's very helpful. I mean, you can set a reminder for anything that you want that is important to you. If you want to set a reminder to drink water, as you're setting a reminder for things like that, to drink X amount of waters, bottles of water every day. Also set a reminder on a monthly basis, or if you want to try bi-weekly, if you're new on board with budgeting, I recommend bi-weekly to develop those habits. But personally for me right now, because we do have the habits, we do it monthly. And that works for us. So set a reminder on your phone, on your devices, on a certain day of the month, at a set time, to do this on a regular basis. Yes, so that's my recommendation. Yep. Thank you.
Wow. So I know there are different kinds of budgets, there are different percentages, different, numbers we can use to allocate what goes where, to cut where. Like there's so many things you can do in terms of the budget. So in your opinion, what is the best kind of budget that we can use?
So I think from that question, I would definitely do short videos on the different types that are out there. But you want to try every one of them that you feel works for you and pick the one that works for you. And you can change it. If a certain type does not work for you in, say, December, we're in December now, you can change it for January. There's no set rule in place that says that you have to use a certain method. And as lifestyle changes, you definitely have to maybe change the methods you're using. So, but do what works best for you. The results are very important. It doesn't matter. There's no best kind out there, but do what works for you, the one you will use and you will enjoy using, the one that you will check in often and you don't see it like a chore or like a boring task to get done. Do it. Yeah. That's my recommendation. Yep.
Okay. So I know that, life is very unpredictable. Something's always coming up. There's always other expenses that need to be paid unexpectedly. So, like, what are some ways that we can keep the budget that we choose flexible so it can be able to adapt to whatever life throws in our path? And like based on your own personal experience as well.
Okay. I would say plan to have line items for those things. Have like, for instance, I mentioned emergency funds. on your budget, make sure you have a line item for emergencies. Don't just put it in the air and say, oh, yes, I'm planning for my emergencies. No, itemize it, list it out, include it. For me, my husband calls me extra, extra when it comes to numbers, but I also put in place just in case funds, just in case, you just never know when after emergencies things could come up. So we do have a just in case fund. So, but include it in the budget. Again, life is unpredictable, but when you have this emergency funds in place, you have your just in case, you never know when, and just form the habit of saving. Habit of saving. It's very important. When you start it, it becomes a part and parcel of you, and you do it with ease. And as you see the results of, when that unpredictable situation comes up, you're able to fend for that situation. You have that relief. So, but again, life does not doesn't tell us what is going to happen. No one knows tomorrow, but having things in place is always helpful. In terms of money, just save for a rainy day, save for that one day where you might need, a business partner or someone comes up to you and says, oh, I have this business idea that that you would also show interest to, and you don't have any investment, you don't have any capital saved up. How would you start that investment? But it doesn't have to be in the bad situations that emergencies also come up. You can also look at the positive side. What if a business deal drops in your lap and you don't have the funds to carry out that business? So save for things like that also, just in case funds. It's very, very important. Even if it's $5 a day or a week, you can afford, but do something. If you're saving $5 a month, by the end of 2020, by the end of the year in December, you would have saved up $60. That's something. That's grocery money for a family. That is gas money for someone for the whole month. So it's very, very important to develop the habit of saving, no matter how little it is. Squeeze it out and save that money. We have great tools that you can also use to save money, that would also generate high yield savings accounts. That's one way you can go in growing your funds for emergencies, because your money is not just sitting in the bank account. You're enjoying slightly okay rate of return on your money. So leverage that as you save. I don't recommend the envelope system, because your money is in envelopes, but to the question on point today, yes, saving is very important. Save for your emergencies and include that on your budget. Include every item that you can think of on your budget. Yes. Thank you. But before we take the next question, if you're enjoying this video, I would love for you to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and please share with your family, friends, business partners, co-workers, anyone you feel will be blessed by this session today. So please do well to support us and help other families, other individuals out there that need to listen to this. Thank you. So over to you. Do we have any more questions? Thank you.
Yes, we do. And I actually have a scenario, an example scenario to push to you.
Okay.
So, what if a person comes up to you and says, Miss Lola, I want to budget. I'm trying to budget, but the budgeting that I'm putting in place doesn't really work. And there's always an event each month that throws me off. So, is there any tips that you can give to help that person?
So does that person do it consistently? Because again, the B word, budgeting, might be boring for some of us, or the task might sound very tedious. But there's no rule in that states that you have to call it a budget. Again, do you do it frequently? How frequently do you review your money plan? That's what I call my budget. So call it something fun. That's the first thing. Something inspiring, something motivating, something that excites you each time you look at your reminder on your phone, or you pick up that notebook, or open that app to review your numbers month after month or bi-weekly, like I recommended. So something that excites you, name it something fun. It could be your fabulous money plan, your debt-free money plan, building wealth plan, name it something catchy that you look forward to doing month, week after week, however often you set that plan in place. That's the first thing. So make it fun for yourself. Do the method that works for you, that you don't consider tedious or a task. And as you see the results, trust me, you would keep up consistently with doing it. Another tip I would say is many of us sometimes we don't include all our expenses every month. The tiny little things that you spend here and there, coffee, just thinking of some things randomly. But these things do add up. My child needed an extra pair of shoes for an event. These little things that come up, we don't include it on the budget. And that's one major thing that could push us towards overspending for the month or throw us out of budget. So, and these things add up, most especially if it's a recurring event that happens month after month. So make a plan to include all your expenses, even the $1 water bottle you buy at work, put it on the budget and and this is how you can catch it. You catch those little expenses by checking your bank statements. Every bank card or credit card you use that has a statement, review those expenses and list them out. As you notice that these things are happening month after month or week after week, you need to put it on your budget because those things they're sliding through you and those numbers add up over time. And again, like I said earlier, you don't have to use the same budget every month. If these numbers that you set for this month did not work, try a new budget for the following month. Re-strategize. If it didn't work in January, re-strategize for February. If it didn't work in the first week, re-strategize for the second week. So don't set things in motion and don't check back. Even for big organizations, they do have a budget. And in between each quarter for the year, they review the numbers. They have a forecast. They compare the budgets to the actual numbers. They compare the budget to the forecast. They build upon that and they make changes. They tweak the numbers to get them to their desired goals, their bottom line of where they want to get to at the end of the year. So that's what keeps those big organizations like the Coca-Cola and the big organizations, the Apple, that's what keeps them afloat because they review their numbers. So, and as the budget numbers are not working for them, they tweak it. So be flexible with your budget. Don't be too rigid. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't use the same budget month after month. No 2 months are going to be the same. So you could have one-time expense this month, and then the following month, the expense does not come up. Save that extra money, put it towards another financial goal you want to achieve. So make those changes as you go. It is recommended that you take time out a few days before the beginning of each month to look over your budget and add on any necessary adjustments, take out if you need to, and make those changes as you go. This way, you're not surprised when you have to pay a certain bill or, any expenses that is not recurring comes up for you. And one thing that most of us don't factor in what I call fun money. Guilt-free money is what I would say. So as you don't want to be too strict on your budget, you also want to include things that you love to do for fun. Because if you don't, which are the small things that usually come up that throws us off on the budget. So have a category for fun money also. So on your budget, you don't overspend. So listen, budgeting is not only about curbing or tracking your expenses or saving money. You want to be able to give yourself some breathing room within your budget to do other things that make you happy and bring you joy. Things like getting your nails done, getting a massage, going to the movies, hanging out with friends. Assign an amount every month. And, for January, if you didn't spend that money on your fund money, save it up there. For the next month, save it and just have a bucket for your fund money. But don't spend as you go. Assign a task to every dollar coming into your hands or into your bank account. So it's perfectly fine to spend money on the things that make you happy. Don't be too rigid on your numbers. As long as you plan for them, you can accommodate them within your income and be reasonable with the amount, every single month. I usually add a line on my budget. But create a line on the budget, assign a certain amount or percentage of your income to your fund money, and do it within reason for that fun activity. I'm not saying, $1,000 a month, but be reasonable with the numbers. Yeah. The goal is to have breathing room at the end of each month, have money left over to save, to reach all the financial goals that you have in place. Yes. Thank you.
That is so amazing. And we have two questions from the live chat on YouTube.
Okay.
And the first question that we have is, do you have any advice on retiring early?
So retiring early is considered different for everyone. Retiring early could be in their 50s, it could be in your 40s. There's no set age, there's no guideline, there's no set rule that states that you have to retire at in your 60s. So, but if your goal is to retire early, again, I do have some questions to ask the individual. How old are you today? How many years between now and your set age to retire? How many years do you have? What's your income like? Are you a business owner? There's certain variables that come into play to answer the question. But just to give that person an overview, you have to consider where you're putting your money today. Are you going to be taxed? Do you know how much in taxes you will be paying in that future year when you're ready to retire? Are you ready to pay those taxes? Is your house paid off? Are you a homeowner? Where do you want to settle down when you retire? Do you want to settle down in the state of Georgia or Florida, or you want to go to Hawaii? What is your plan to retire? So, and when we say retirement is defined in so many ways. Retirement for one person could be coming out of the workforce and, still be doing other things on the side. And for some people, their retirement is not on the drawing board for them. They're business owners. They want to grow empires to make sure that they leave a legacy for children's to come. So my advice to that individual is in so many ways. Retire, yes, but what do you have in your hands to work with in your retirement days? If you're not financially ready, then you're not ready. So, but to help you in making that decision, I'll leave a link in the comment section for you to book an appointment. I can do like a quick 30 minutes consultation with that individual, and then we can move on from there. But set up the appointment. Let's look at the numbers. I always say the numbers tell a story. Before I can make my recommendation in terms of how much, and everyone's goals, everyone's desires in life are different. So I need more information to help that individual. So let's talk. Yes.
Okay, we have another question as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And would a HYSA, would that count as an emergency fund?
Say that again.
Would an HYSA count as an emergency fund?
HYSA. What is that? The only
I
thing I
think
can think about is HSA in the financial world, or terminology. Can that individual give the the full meaning of that acronym HYSA? If you're talking about an HSA, that's a health savings account. Um, that is strictly for medical expenses. And it's a very good tool for saving towards retirement, but it's not good for emergency funds because that account is only used for medical expenses. You can't use it for emergencies. I mean, when you have emergencies in the hospital, yes, that comes into play. But for personal emergencies like, new tires and things like that, no, you cannot. If that's what I think that individual meant to type there, yes.
They just answered and said HYSA means high yield savings account.
Okay. Yes, that is a very good one. I did mention that earlier. That is a very good way to save for emergencies. Yes, a lot of banks offer those. So make sure that you compare bank to bank, which is offering the higher rate of return on your money. Yes, they do offer those, and it's a good way to save money for short-term goals and maybe some long-term goals. It depends on what it is. But emergency funds, that's the way to go. Yes.
Thank you. So another question is that is the 50/20/30 a good budget?
I think the 50, 20, 30. Yeah. So we have 50, 20, 30. We have 80, 20. There's so many percentages. But back to the question that came on earlier, do what works for you. There's no best method out there. But try one. If it doesn't work for you, try another type. And you can change those ratios. If those ratios don't meet your financial goals, you can change it. There's no set rule that says that you have to use this set amount, but do what works best for you. Everyone's numbers tell a different story. Everyone's financial situation is different. Everyone's demand of life, of their needs and necessities are different. So, but most importantly, if you also want to sit with a financial expert that can help you, um, please feel free to reach out to us at the Mini World Group. We'll be more than happy to help you and assist you in reviewing those numbers. Yeah.
Okay. So can you share a personal tip or experience for someone who finds it tough to stay on track with their budgeting habits?
Yes. One tip I will recommend is set a day of the month to review it monthly. Set a reminder on your phone devices, on your calendar, a set time, a set day of the month, and consider getting help from a financial expert. Yep, that's what we're here for. Yes.
Yes. So we know we are living in a digital age, a very tech savvy world, and there are many apps and tools. So do you have any personal favorite to go apps that can make budgeting more relatable and less overwhelming?
Oh yes, there's a lot out there. There's definitely a lot out there. For budget beginners, we have Good Budget. That's what it's called, Good Budget. They have a paid function and they have a free function as well. So you can always check those out. And then we have what we call YNAB. It's an app. The acronym is You Need a Budget. YNAB. But the acronym is You Need a Budget. They do charge for that. But that is very good for serious budgeters that want to that are serious about their budget and they want to see results. If you want to invest into that, that's a very great one. For overspenders that want to track their spending more closely, Pocket Guard is a good one. Simply by Quicken. Um, and Dave Ramsey just came out with a good one, another one also this year called Every Dollar. They do have a free function and they also have a paid one as well. It's called Every Dollar. And if you're good, if you're an investor, if you like to invest, and good ones that offer a budgeting app. It's a two-in-one budgeting app, and you can also invest It's a tool that does both functions, monitoring your spending and building wealth at the same time. We have Empower. They do charge a fee, a maintenance fee for the investment services they offer. Think about 1% of your investment is what they charge. But Empower is a very good one. Their budgeting function is free, but if you're doing the investment with them, they do have a charge there for their investment management services. If you're also just getting started with budgeting, Stash is a great one. Stash is just called Stash. You can go on your app store and download that as well. For investors and saving, another one is called Opportune, Oportun. They used to be called Digit, but they've evolved and changed their name. And for couples out there, I love to also share this one. It's called Honeydew. That's a very great one for couples out there, and it's free. It is free. So Honeydew for couples, and for individuals like myself that we love the spreadsheet format, I do have a template, a budget template that I would download and leave the link in the comment section of this video, free for you all to download. For anyone interested in that, I'll be offering that after this call. I'll put it out there. But it's a free budget template that anyone can use. If you don't want to use any of the apps, it's a good way to start reviewing your numbers and planning for the new year coming up and hitting those financial goals. Yes.
Perfect. So I actually have a question that I wanted to ask, and it has to do with tithing. So how do you budget while being mindful of tithing? Because in the life of a believer, tithing is a very important thing that we have. It is very mandatory. So how do you budget your money while including tithes?
Thank you so much. That is a great, 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 great question. Yes. As a believer, now on the personal note, I usually would take that out before I start my budget. I really don't even see that money. Yeah. So I usually just deduct that payment before starting off my budget. One great practice is to allocate a percentage. If you know how much income comes in for you on a regular basis, just assign a different bank account for that money to be going in there. And then, what I always do is I always factor in my offering, in that percentage. So I do more than 10% on that. So I factor in my offering and allocate that out to that bank account. If you're very great with credit cards, now remember I said great with credit cards. I didn't say if you're a user of credit card. If you're a diligent, efficient user of credit cards, that is one way you can also do it. Is by using your credit cards to pay your tithes or your offering, and then always have it on auto pay to pay it off. Don't even wait, before it hits your credit report, just pay it off. So, but again, you have to be a diligent and efficient user of your cards. As you do that, you earn points and reward points and cash back on your credit cards. So that's one way I also practice mine. But to the question on board, always include that on your budget. Every income coming into your hands in your bank account as a believer, deduct your tithing, your offering, or any donations you give to your church organization or any charity organization. That should be factored in on your budget. So for your tithing, take it out first and then budget with whatever you'll have left over for the month to budget for the month. That's what I highly recommend. Yes. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that response. That's all the questions I have.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope this session has been very, very insightful for each and every one of you. So I'd love to hear from you guys. So what are some of the hacks or the tips you use to create your budget and works for you? I shared a lot of mine today, but I would love to hear from you all. So please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. Special thanks to my interviewer today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here with me and for running this smoothly with me today. Thank you. And thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on today's live show. Please do remember to share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on our weekly videos on money and finance topics. We have a lot cooking in the kitchen, in the finance kitchen. So stay plugged in and stay tuned. Thank you all for your time today and see you all in the next segment. Thank you. Bye for now.